brand new airline opens in Finland, a new model from Junkers takes flight, and the world speed record is broken. Twice. This is old news. Most of us are familiar with Finnair, the flag carrier of Finland, sporting its sleek and, despite its simplicity, rather wonderful looking livery. Today, the airline is considered one of the best in the world, and this month they celebrated their 100th birthday. Founded on the 1st of November 1923, their first aircraft was a German-built Junkers F-13, which was a big deal at the time, being the world's first all-metal airliner. The Junkers was ideal for Finland, with the option to swap between skis for the harsh wintry conditions and floats, perfect for a country which, at the time, didn't have any commercial airfields. They were founded by Bruno Lokander, the son of two bank managers who, himself, went on to become the deputy manager of Nordic Equity Bank. When he founded Finnair in 1923, he didn't do it alone, working with two other gentlemen by the names of Gustaf Snellman and Fritjof Arman. They also hired a former colonel from the Finnish Air Force who became the company's technical advisor. The airline, however, was not actually founded under the name Finnair. Instead, it was simply called Aero Oy, the Oy being short for Osakeyhtiö, which is simply Finnish for limited company. It would change its name to Finnish Airlines after the war, and the name we all know and love today wouldn't come until much later in the 20th century. In November 1923, the Pulitzer Air Race was in full swing. This race was the high point of air racing in the early 1920s. These races were sponsored by none other than Ralph Pulitzer, and if that name sounds familiar, it's because Ralph was the son of Joseph Pulitzer, the man who today lends his name to the Pulitzer Prize. On the 2nd of November, Lieutenant Harold J. Brow, flying a Curtiss R2C-1, set a world speed record flying his aircraft at a breezy 259 miles per hour. And you have to remember, these old aircraft were open top, so 259 was fast. This aircraft in particular was a model developed specifically for the US Navy, a single-seater biplane that was made just for racing. Unfortunately for Mr. Brow, his record was short-lived. Just 2 days later, Lieutenant Alfred J. Williams busted his speed wide open, setting a new record of 266 miles per hour, and he did so flying the exact same aircraft that Lieutenant Brow had used just 2 days earlier. Williams ultimately went on to win the Pulitzer Trophy for 1923 with an average speed of 244 miles per hour around the 32-mile course. Speaking of Lieutenant Brow and Williams, they had a busy November because the Navy sent them and their prize-winning aircraft to the Mitchell Air Carnival, which took place on the 6th of the month at the Mitchell Air Force Base in New York. The event was very well attended, with 25,000 people in total, 12,000 of which bought tickets, with the rest lining the highways around the airfield. The carnival featured 100 different aircraft, including Martin bombers, de Havilland 4Bs, and Vought VE-7s. Events included aerobatics, formation flying, and a performance by William and Brow flying in their Curtiss races. The show ended with a spectacular performance where a kite balloon was shot down by Captain R. Kinloch, who set it on fire with a single shot. I don't know about you, but I kind of wish I'd been around to see this. And finally, a new Junkers made its maiden flight. The J-22 first flew on the 20th of November. Now, this wasn't a totally new aircraft, it was a variation of the Junkers 21, which had first flown in June that year. The J-22 was made for the Soviet Air Force, but design issues caused them to reject it. The old BMW engine just wasn't powerful enough. Ultimately, only 2 of the aircraft were ever built, and unfortunately, it never entered production. So there you go, that was the state of aviation in November 1923. If you enjoyed this then, maybe share it with some friends who might like it too. But that's all from me, and I'll see you in the next one.